So I'm watching this podcast with Stephen Bartlett. You know, he does the podcast for Diary of a CEO, and he interviews a lot of famous people. And this time he's interviewing Ivanka Trump. And something she said really struck a chord with me because I was so intrigued by what she said, and it made me start to do a lot of thinking. So I'm watching this, and he's asking her questions about her life, living with the Trumps and the parents' divorce and all that kind of stuff. And then he asks her, and he says to her, well, he first makes a comment. He says, I noticed that you don't do a lot of social media. And he asks her why. Why does she not do a lot of social media? And she said she has a simple answer. She says, because it's too expensive for my soul. Now, we're talking about a woman who can basically afford pretty much everything she wants in this life. So financial expense is not the issue. She's basically saying it's too expensive for her soul. And what that leads me to believe is it's too expensive because it robs her of her life. It robs her of her time. It robs her of her peace and tranquility. And so it's not a good thing for her to do. I mean, she's been involved with media her whole life, right? So she understands the cost of what media does to one's family and to oneself. So it started thinking to me, and of course, you know, I think in terms of credit, because that's what I do. And I think about the expense we have in regards to credit and our bills and our debt and what it takes from our lives. You know, the Bible puts it simply, the money that you owe your lender is what enslaves you. So you become a slave to the lender from when you borrow money. And do you know how many credit cards we are becoming slaves to? How many car loans? How many personal loans, these title loans and these payday loans and these Klarnas and all of those kinds of things, right? We become slaves to the people that we owe money to. And it gets me thinking how expensive that is to our soul because it robs us of our time. It robs us of our peace, our tranquility. We find ourselves working for all our things instead of working just to live and live happily. Now I get it. There are things that we have to buy, things that we have to finance, but we should really work on staying out of debt as much as possible because I found it to be expensive for our souls.